Today, you may notice more people are wearing blue in order to mark World Autism Awareness Day. Now, autism is now believed to affect about 1 in 59 children. Now, children on the autism spectrum may have difficulty communicating, and they may develop in many different ways. However, there is still so much to learn about autism, and there are many ways to discuss autism so that we can remain inclusive. To learn more, we talked to our concierge physician doctor, Dr. Abe Malkin. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Malkin.
My pleasure.
Since 2000, the prevalence of autism in the U.S. has steadily risen, but that might be more because of the growing awareness and changes to the criteria for diagnosis. So, Dr. Malkin, how do researchers track autism prevalence and explain this rise?
Sure. So in the year 2000, they established an organization, the CDC established an organization to really start tracking autism more carefully. And they do a survey of pediatricians and cases in a number of states in the U.S. And what they found is that, initially the prevalence was closer to 1 in 150 children that had autism. Now, as you mentioned, the prevalence is down to 1 in 59. And again, that largely is due to a growing awareness of it and a growing focus on identifying children with autism early and helping them in their progression of the disease. So it's not simply that more children are suffering from autism, but I just think we're being more aware of it now.
Absolutely. So how has this definition of autism changed over the years?
Well, you may have heard other criteria for children on the spectrum, such as Asperger's or pervasive developmental disorder. We now lump them all together as autism spectrum disorder under one large heading. We still you hear often people who are higher functioning referred to as Asperger's or other types of conditions, but now they're all under that same umbrella as autism spectrum disorder. The actual criteria by which they use to determine children with autism has actually been simplified to just communication issues and restrictive or repetitive behavior patterns as well.
Okay, well, autism has been brought more to the public eye, as you mentioned. Has society adjusted enough, do you think, to accommodate not only children in the younger education years, but also as they grow into adults in society today? And what better could we do?
Sure. You do mention that we have done a good job of, creating programs for children who are identified to have autism, special learning groups for children, accommodations for them in the classroom at a younger age. And later on in life, we are starting to have that creep into corporate America. Companies are working on their company environment, whether it be reducing stimuli. As you know, individuals with autism are very hyper-focused on light and sounds, so creating safe workspaces for them. We are starting to see some of that, but certainly it's more at a younger age and not as much into adulthood. And I think that's probably the next major area that we need to focus on is, we've done a better job of identifying them at an early age, but helping them throughout their life to live as much of a normal life as possible is really the next phase of the development of addressing this issue.
Absolutely. So now I am sure you're asked this often by parents who are expecting, but also parents with young children. Can parents do anything to prevent their children from actually having autism?
So there's nothing that you can do to prevent your child from having autism. It's a genetic disorder. But there are many ways you can help your child live as rich and full of a life as possible. So, what used to sort of be a stigma for children that didn't act the right way or say the right things, we're now realizing that's just, the way that they process the world. And helping them process the world in the way that's most comfortable for them is really important. So, getting them into the right groups of peers that will understand their limitations and teachers that will help them learn in the best way that they're able to do, to develop the skills as best as they can to lead a normal life. And then beyond that, continuing to support them and allowing them to achieve their full potential in whatever capacity that is.
Well, thank you, Dr. Malkin, for having this conversation with us. And let's hope today continues to educate a society about how wonderful those with autism really can be, and that they are still definitely a part of everyday life and should be enjoyed just like every other child that we have on this earth. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this last video. We have a ton more great content just like this for you. So if you want more, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, and remember, never stop questioning more.